have a son who's 8, and then our daughter just turned 6, and she was born deaf. She's profoundly deaf due to congenital CMV, and she uses bilateral cochlear implants to hear.
We don't have any history of hearing loss in the family, so it was a shock to learn initially, and we didn't have experience to build off of. And so I think when you're talking about our journey, we just kind of did it step by step and sort of relied on others that had more experience than us, and we tried to make decisions for our daughter based on our family and what we thought the best opportunities were for her, and so far I think if we had known where we'd be now when we had found out, I think that would have relieved a lot of the initial stress, because our daughter is doing really well, and I think all the things that we were concerned about in terms of us being able to communicate with her, we are able to do really well, and hope to continue to do so, and I think have set ourselves and her up to continue along the journey the way that we had hoped it would go.
She got hearing aids when she was 3 months old, and we pretty much immediately started working with a listening and spoken language specialist who is certified in auditory verbal therapy. And she came to our house once a week, every week, and we started working with her when our daughter had hearing aids. And then when it became clear that the hearing aids weren't allowing her enough access to sound and to access speech, we made the decision for her to get cochlear implants. And once they were activated, all along we kept working with this specialist. And after her implants were activated, we kept that up on a weekly basis. By the time she turned 3, she no longer qualified for any services. Her speech and language was on the level, she was on the same level as her typically hearing peers. Her speech and language is incredible. And now she's in kindergarten, and she's an early reader. And honestly, she's reading probably at a 2nd grade level. So she's doing incredibly well. Better truly than I think we ever would have imagined and could have hoped and dreamed for. A lot of the things that we read and heard and were told would be hard for her and challenging for her. A lot of those things she's proven everybody wrong. Her ability to take in sound and stories and music and speech and remember it and then reproduce it is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
We had home visits early on, and all the different communication options were explained to us. And I think that, we listened to experts and, read books. And I can remember watching videos of other kids who had worked with listening and spoken language providers, and seeing the outcomes that were possible. Seeing these kids who had incredible speech and sounded just like any other kid, honestly brought us a lot of hope and made us feel like this might be possible for Jane. So I think those were influences, and just thinking about our family and our lifestyle and the goals that we have for her and our hopes and dreams for her. Honestly, it seemed like the path that we chose for her, that listening and spoken language and auditory verbal therapy specifically would give her the best chance of having that outcome.
I think for us it was a combination of really being able to communicate with our daughter in a way that technology has allowed at this point, and I think it was to again provide the opportunities that we saw in Jane's future, again, making decisions for her when she can't make them for herself. I think that was something we struggled with. Are we making the right decisions? We didn't know. We don't know. But I think it was with the intention of being able to communicate with our child and really kind of wanting the same things for her that we wanted for our son Henry, who is hearing.
It's really a lifestyle. It was, making sure that she's wearing her technology, whether it was her hearing aids as a baby or once she got cochlear implants, that if the saying was, eyes open, ears on. So when her eyes were open, her technology went on. And all of our daily routines, it was just all wrapped up in it. So I became a narrator. I just constantly narrated all parts of our day. We're going down the stairs. We're going up, 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 up the stairs. I see a ball. I see a blue ball. Literally to the point where I was tired of hearing myself talk. It's not that you put the technology on and then they just magically, everything's fine. No, not at all. It is a commitment. It's a true commitment, and a true commitment to a lifestyle where you are absolutely bombarding your child with language all day and filling their world with as much information about the sounds that they're hearing. It just felt like such a wonderful back and forth, and just something that she was so happy and enjoying. So that made us feel like this is all worth it. We're doing the right thing. Look at how she's just thriving. And then quickly it became her speaking, and then she just doesn't talk. She doesn't stop talking. So, there are literally moments where it would just be so, so much like singing or yelling or something, and we would stop and look at each other and say, we worked really hard to make this happen.
I have 5 children. My 4th child is significantly deaf. And so I was in my mid-20s when Deanna was born. She was that last year before they started the newborn hearing test. So I would not know that she was hearing impaired till she was 3. Fast forward, 26 years later, 24 years later, then she had my granddaughter Grace, who I am helping raise, is significantly deaf also. She is thriving, and thankfully, because we found out when she was born right at the hospital, we knew that then and there. She's only turned 2 yesterday, so she has a tendency still to go, and she'll go, so I know she wants something to eat. But we're trying to get her to say, if I was to say, are you hungry? For her to tell me yes, instead of doing, we're trying to transition her out back into now the verbal part of it. But she's starting to finally put little sentences together. So it's coming. Her mother was the influence because we went with the spoken language and the hearing aids. Grace, when she gets up, she's ready to go. She's active. The first thing we try to do is put her hearing aids in because she actually welcomes it. Because I think she understands there's a difference in what she's hearing without them to what she has with them. So she's never, surprisingly, given me a problem. She, from 8 months on, she sits right there and lets me put them in. I think with all of this early intervention, I see a huge difference in her compared to, again, I do comparison to her mother, than where her mother was at that age. She's just... I find that she's just taken off and bloomed so much more than her mother did, at this early stage. They have classified her as between the moderate to severe. They explained to me the certain sounds that she can hear, so we really pay attention, making sure hearing aids are in so that she can hear. Loud noises, if you're talking loud, just like her mom, without them she can hear, but you can't talk like this or have something low because then she can't hear you. So we've just learned, again, it's that adapting to her.